in action. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the KSP Motivation channel. My name is Kendi, currently a six-figure Amazon seller. And on this channel, I'm tracking my journey on becoming a seven-figure seller. So if you're interested in seeing my progress and growth and learning as I grow, feel free to sub to this channel and follow the journey. So today we're going to be talking about 7 things about this business that I dislike and that you might go through or are probably going through. So the purpose of this video is really just to share and make you guys aware if you're looking to get into the business of things that you probably nobody is telling you, or you probably have no idea happens. And I just feel like it's like something to take in before making that decision and jumping into this business. Now, before I even say that, don't get me wrong, this business does provide a lot of opportunity, a lot of things. Like me personally, my biggest motivation in creating this business is so that I could be mobile and so that I could travel wherever I want to without being stuck in one place. So that's my biggest motivator for building this business. So let's get into this video. Stay tuned for all 7 and let me guys know what your thoughts are and what you guys think about it, or if you guys are even going through any of these yourselves. So to begin with, the first thing I want to talk about, the notorious price tanking of products. You just spent, I don't know, several hours, maybe days looking for a product you found and you're like, oh wow, this is amazing. You did their in stock, great amount. You buy a good amount of inventory expecting to make good profit, let's say maybe like 30-40% return on your money, and then you ship it in, goes to Amazon. By the time it checks in and becomes available, probably were 3 sellers on the listing before you shipped it out. By the time it finally checks in, now it's sitting at about 25, 30, 40 sellers on the listing. Everybody just jumped on there, and next thing you know, the price has tanked. The only way to be profitable is if you bring down, the only way to sell your products, is if you bring down your price maybe to like 5% profit, profit margins, where you might be getting like a 15% return or 10% return. And if you're selling low price items under $20, a 15% return on your money is not really much. And, you're going to need a lot of volume for that, right? And going deep on a product can be scary because some things do tank to the point where you're not profitable at all. You just have to take a loss to be able to get rid of the inventory, or else you'll just be sitting with this product for 2, 3, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months if you're not, if you're really stubborn on trying to get that profit. But by that time, if you're letting your product sit that long, you're losing. So there's no point. You're just gonna have to take the loss and get rid of the product. So that's one thing, right? The only way I could think of avoiding price tanks is just not to go too deep, but deep is really subjective. I have this one product, sold 55 units last month. Great. So I'm like, okay, cool. If I could sell 55 in a month, let me go ahead and reorder 80 units this month. And this month, 80 units come in. Next thing you know, skyrocket with the offers counts just skyrocket. Price tanks, and now I'm stuck with 80 units. I either have to sit and wait till all these sellers come off, or do I just take the L and just get rid of it and put the money back to work into something else, which is what I'm gonna have to do at this point. It wouldn't make sense for me to just sit there and just wait 2-3 months just to offload 80 units. So yeah, that's one thing, price tanking. The second thing is Amazon check-in times. This has messed up my cash flow so bad for August. I was aiming, thankfully I did finish the month at my average 30K a month. I'm like, okay, cool. At least I did the 30K revenue, another month. But the thing is, if everything was to check in normally, I would have definitely hit past 40K for sure. Looking at what I have available, the quantity, I think currently right now 60% of my inventory is sitting in either inbound or reserved, and some of the stuff has been in inbound and reserved status for like a good month, like 4 weeks, and it's just sitting in, like, I don't know what's going on, but Amazon is just taking their time checking these things in, which it becomes a damper because it messes up your cash flow. Like, if I had gotten that money back, I could have already, like if those things were available to purchase, I could have gotten that money back and already been sending more units into something else. And so that's a definite thing. And on top of that, the checking times could mess up with your cash flow being messed up. That could affect the way you're able to pay your cards or whatever debt that you owe for, if you're using credit to grow the business. Yeah. So the next thing is going to be IP complaints or just random listing shutdowns. So from time to time, I notice there might be like, it's not very often, but from time to time, I'll have a product just go inactive out of the blue for no reason. Like Amazon gives you no reason why it's inactive. And since I'm not the creator of the listing, I can't do nothing. So in that case, if you're on a product that goes inactive randomly, now you're going to be stuck with a bunch of units that you can't sell. You can't, offload. The only thing you'll have to do is probably ship it back to yourself and try to sell it somewhere else, and probably for a loss, because the volume, the sales velocity on the other platforms that you might use to try to offload it probably is not going to be the same as it is on Amazon. So sucks, but it happens. And that goes with IP complaint products too. So sometimes you get an IP complaint on a product, you lose your ability to sell that product. Now you're stuck with a bunch of units that you can't sell anymore, and you're stuck having to figure out how to get rid of this, and yeah. So and most of the time you are going to take a L. You're going to have to sell it for a loss. So it's kind of like money and time wasted, which is really aggravating and annoying. So that's something to watch out for. The biggest thing, the best solution I heard for most of these, I'll share them with you guys at the end, so stay tuned. So the next one is another annoying one: Amazon losing your inventory. This, you have to be on top of it. Me personally, I keep track of this with Sellerboard. They have a setting in section in Sellerboard that actually keep track of your shipments and what's being checked in, and it actually allows you to see and know when something is missing in the shipments that you sent. So let's say you sent 100 units to Amazon, Sellerboard will actually go ahead and track and keep track of these all your inventory as it's checking in, and when Amazon changes it to close, that shipment status to close, Sellerboard will show you that, if 100% everything checked in, it'll be 100%. If 90% checked in, it'll show that 90% of the items that you sent were checked in, and you could go in there and check, and you could just create a discrepancy. You could check the discrepancies and just follow through with what they're requesting to try to request money back for your lost inventory, which most of the time Amazon will pay you back for it if you supply, the receipts and what they're asking for. But at the same time too, that's something you actively have to do and search for. You have to be on top of it, or else Amazon is not going to go out their way to say, hey, look, we lost your inventory. Here's your money back for the stuff we lost. You have to be the one going in and doing all this extra work just to make sure you're getting paid for what they're losing, which is, I don't get it. It's weird. Anyway, next. Oh, by the way, this is going to be for online arbitrage. This is, what I'm currently doing. I'm selling on online arbitrage, retail arbitrage to a minimum, but mostly online arbitrage. The next thing is going to be order cancels. Order cancels have been really irritating lately as I've been trying to purchase more aggressively, but that's just teaching me which websites I should stay away from and which websites I can go heavier on. So I focus mostly, every time I get multiple order cancellations from certain websites, I kind of like have my own little personal. Yeah, I have like my own little personal website blacklist where, these are the websites, like for example, Target. I started off selling, buying all the time from there. I can't even remember the last time I bought from Target at this point. I quit on them like months ago because they're just like, they blacklisted 2 of my Target accounts where every time I put in an order, it's automatic cancel. The only way I was able to buy from Target today is if I go into the store and buy physically, buy my gift cards, go to the store, load them on my app, and then go ahead and buy them in the store. It's the only way I could buy from Target. So I'm like, you know what, it's not worth the stress. Just focus on the websites that don't cancel as much. Like if the websites that I focus on, if they cancel, it's generally because they're out of stock. It's not like, oh, you're a reseller, we're not gonna sell to you. So those are the websites I focus on. But yeah, the order cancels do get annoying, and I could imagine just trying, once you get closer to that 7-figure range, it's gonna get worse. So it's like, okay, cool. So start being able to decipher which ones you should focus on and which websites you should stay away from. So that's another annoyance with this model, but hey, it is what it is. Something you got to deal with, and you just got to adjust with it. Returns. When I tell you returns have messed up my margins, it is freaking annoying. Right now, I've checked, my average return percentage is 10%. So pretty much out of every 10 units I sell, 1 is getting returned. So that's what the ballpark. I feel like it should be lower. I don't really have anyone or any stores to compare it to. So personally, I think it's a little high. I would like it to be close to about 5%. But looking at all the returns coming, that I'm getting, like it's kind of like, it messes with my mind, because like this could have been potential profit, but because it's being returned, now it's like, okay, cool, like that's, my margins is not what it could have been, you know what I mean? And then the second thing, the worst thing about the returns are the scammy customers that will buy a pair of shoes, and then ship back an empty box, or replace an old moldy. I got you. All right, so just to show you guys a demonstration, these are returns that I've gotten. So look, this was purchased by a customer, and this is what I got in return. Literally, a freaking tag. It's crazy, right? Here's another one, right? Brand new pair of shoe, but when it was returned, first of all, the box that was returned in wasn't even the original box, but what I got was just a moldy pair. Like, I don't know if you could see it really well, but these things are mold deep, and it's weird. So it's like, bro, it's scammy, right? So that's just loss, right? Now I have to go and try to submit and look at the order and try to get my money back for that unit, which is annoying. It's just extra work being taken away from the other stuff I could be focused on, right? And if you don't have systems in place to take care of these things for you, especially in the beginning, if you don't have money to pay people or get additional programs to do this stuff for you, that's your time that you have to either accept the loss or go back and try to fix that and correct it, right? So that's another annoyance, which sucks, but it's a heads up, bro. Like, if you're gonna do this business, these are things to be aware of, right? So just keep in mind, these are issues. Yeah, my notebook is like freaking, like, yeah, it's terrible. But the last and the worst one that I hate is, the scariest to me personally is the constant fact that Amazon could shut your account down any second, any day, for the most stupidest, ridiculous reason. Like, last time my account was shut down, it was because they claimed I was selling counterfeit goods, counterfeit products, when the stuff I was purchasing was from Target. Like, how am I, it's like, it's weird. Like, they'll side with the customer before they side with the seller. So, and then they'll try to get, try to get you to clear your name. It's like, come on, I have a business to run. You can't just shut down my account, because once they shut down your account, guess what? You're not getting paid until they make a decision that you're a legitimate seller, right? So that could be a month, 2 months, 3 months. I've heard some sellers going out to whole 5 months, where that money that you were supposed to get back to pay your cards, to pay your bills, to pay all this stuff, Amazon is holding that money hostage until they come up with a decision to, that, or you're legitimate, right? And the support team that they have on hand, literally, I have to say they're bots. Like, the response that they're giving you is just gonna put you in the loop and just tell you to wait until our internal team does what they have to do to make the decision that you're clear or you're not, right? And you can't get in touch with the internal team. They're literally gonna tell you, oh, we can't let you, the internal team doesn't, we can't give you direct communication with them. You just have to wait for a response from us. They're gonna let us know, and we're gonna tell you. So it makes it really aggravating, the fact that you could get an account suspension anytime, any day, and you really don't know when. And even if you're doing everything correctly, you could still get an account suspension. Thankfully, you could, most cases you could get unsuspended fairly quickly, but still, it is a risk. Like, it's kind of like it's scary, like, it's like, if you don't have any other streams of income, it's like, come on now, what do you do next, right? Especially if you're feeding your family off of this could be really scary. So I think the best way against that is to be very diversified, where you're selling on Walmart, selling on eBay, selling here on Amazon, shop wherever. If you're on social media, some people are selling courses, you feel me? So it's like, these are different ways to mitigate against that risk. So you have to be diversified in order to be more protected, especially if you don't have a job. If you have a job, you could lean on that as well as a secondary source of income. So be very careful about that, right? That personally, I've gotten my account shut down once so far. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But my goal is to try to grow to be able to get onto Walmart. Like, I really want to get into wholesale and then move on to wholesale on Walmart and Amazon, so I can have that diversity, right? I don't really want to sell courses, to be honest, but I don't mind helping. I'm thinking about doing a Discord. I'm looking into how to set one up, and once I do, I'll start advertising and marketing it to you guys, so you guys could join. To be honest, some of these things you could kind of like mitigate your risk against them. For example, like the whole price tanking thing. The most common answer I've heard to protect yourself against that is just don't go too deep on a product. But I feel like deep is really subjective. Like, if you sold 50 units in 1 month, would 50 units again be deep? Like, is 100 too deep? Like, if you like you sold out and ran out the previous month, gained to 100 this month, honestly, I don't think that's too deep. But I think it really depends on how much money you have on hand. If you have, if that 100 units is going to be 50% of your spending capital, maybe, yeah, that is too deep. But if that 50 units is gonna be like 10% of your spending capital, then okay, yeah, go ahead and do that. So that's one way that I think you could avoid to protect yourself against price tanking. The Amazon check-in times, there's nothing you can really do, honestly. I think that's something that's just on Amazon's end. Like, you can't rush them to check your stuff in any quicker or sooner. You just have to wait. So you really don't have any control over that. The IP complaints, just be careful where you're sourcing. Make sure you're buying the receipts. Make sure you're buying from legitimate sources, and you can provide them with receipts if it comes down to that. But even with receipts, they don't treat them like invoices. Invoices have more power than receipts, because they could always come in and say, oh, we don't accept receipts. I actually had them said that to me about a product I was trying to get ungated in. Oh, we don't accept receipts, we only do invoices and da. So, for the Amazon, losing your inventory, just got to be on top of the discrepancies. Always go back and check once the shipment is closed. If you have seller board, definitely use that to track your shipments. But I mean, once your shipment closes, go back and see. They'll tell you the discrepancies, what's missing. You know, if they found anything that was inaccurate in the amounts that you stated that you sent in, and they give you the options to provide them with the receipts and invoices to show proof that you actually purchased these. And I've gotten my money back most of the time, to be honest. But there is a window you have to do it within before they just determine you lost your chance to get your money back. So you just got to be on top of that. Order returns, I mean, that's really just on categories. Certain categories have more order returns than others, so it really depends on what you're selling. From time to time, I hear women's clothing has a really extremely high return rate. I actually experienced some of that recently, so I'm kind of like, I try to stay away from women's clothing. I like doing sneakers and shoes, so I prefer to do that. But even the sneakers, I don't think it's that extremely high for me. It's fair. I mean, 10% maybe that is the reason, but yeah, I don't think that's too bad. I hope not. But the account suspension, just make sure your account health is good all the time. Handle your any complaints that you see within your account, your Amazon account panel, your Amazon health section of your account. Make sure you're on top of those and resolving any issues that you see there as fast as possible. Making sure you're not getting IP complaints, right? Making sure your products are authentic and legitimate by buying from legit sources. And what else is there? I think that's it. Amazon losing your inventory, check-in times, price tanking. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope this video was helpful. I just had to get this off my chest because I woke up this morning, I'm like, why are my sales aren't terrible right now, but they aren't going high as fast as I want them to. And I'm like, why? And I look, I'm like, why is everything in reserved or inbound status? And just like 30% of my inventory is actually available and ready to purchase. And the ones that are ready to purchase right now are heavily, like, they're price tanking. Like the competition on the ones that are active are, it's like the price has dropped, and I'm trying not to lose any profit or drop my margins. And I'm like, all right, the only way to keep my sales going is if I just drop the margin on the ones that are active and just wait for the rest of the stuff to check in. So hopefully next month is a way better month for me and it booms, because I have all these things just pending and not checked in. So fingers crossed. But yeah, that's it. I feel much better now. So thanks if you guys stuck to the end. I hope this video was helpful. If you did find it helpful, give me a thumbs up on this, and I'll be back with more content. And until next time, be easy, be breezy, and peace out.